Howdy all, and welcome back to another episode of the Sanctified Podcast, the show where we explore the stories of various saints throughout history and learn about what they did and how we came to recognize them as saints today. Today, we're going to explore the life of Saint Andre Bessette, also known as the Miracle Man of Montreal. And just a quick thanks to my pastor who kind of unknowingly gave me the recommendation in a recent homily. Andre was born on August 9th, 1845 in Montreal, Canada, but Andre wasn't his birth name. His birth name was Alfred Bessette, and he was the 8th of 12 children. By the time he was 12, though, he lost both of his parents and he was just an orphan. He had to deal with sicknesses throughout his childhood, and it really weakened his body as a result. He looked for a job to support himself, but because of his weakened state, he found it pretty difficult. Eventually, he was adopted and became a farmhand on his adopted family's farm, but that only lasted for so long. He continued on to try his hand at being a baker, a cobbler, which is somebody who makes shoes, and a blacksmith. But nothing really panned out for him. After some time, he was able to get a job in a factory in the US during the time of the Civil War, so he went ahead and followed through with that for a little while. The thing was, it just didn't feel that fulfilling for Alfred. He felt like he was called to do something else, so he left the United States and went back to his home in Montreal. Alfred was a very faithful man, and he held a strong devotion to St. Joseph in particular. His experience and struggles finding work only strengthened his commitment to his faith. With religion being essentially the focal point of his life, he tried joining the Congregation of the Holy Cross when he was 25. But because of his health and all the challenges that he developed because of his sicknesses, they actually rejected him at first. So he went back to his home parish feeling a little bit depressed, and he talked to his priest. His priest sent him back, but this time he had a letter, and that letter simply stated, "I am sending you a saint." So he became a Holy Cross novitiate on November 27th, 1870. Shortly after joining the order, he adopted the name Andre because that was the name of his priest from his childhood, the priest that helped him become a member of the Holy Cross. And even though he was accepted as a novitiate, he was given a menial and mundane task because they just didn't really think he was very capable, and his weakened state, they probably didn't really think he was going to live that long either. But he carried out his duties with extreme dedication and resolve. He was assigned the duty of doorkeeper at the Notre Dame College in Montreal, and he carried out his duties to the fullest of his ability. He said, "When I joined this community, the superiors showed me the door, and I remained 40 years, which is a pretty funny quote. It's kind of like being like, "Yeah, I was a doorman, and I'm darn proud of it because I was the best doorman you ever knew." Now, his job wasn't just opening and closing doors as the doorkeeper. He also greeted visitors and acted as their host, providing them with whatever they needed. But people began to realize that there was more to Andre than just a friendly face. People that visited him started sharing that after praying with Brother Andre, any sickness or ailments that they had suddenly started to heal. In fact, it happened so frequently that he began to be known as a healer, even though all he did was just pray with people. He didn't offer any other sort of assistance. Soon enough, Andre became so famous and sought after to help healing that the congregation had to let him go across the street to the trolley station to see people because they just simply did not have enough space for everybody that was coming. Through it all, Andre was just kind of confused though. Like, I know, why would he be confused? It's obvious people are coming to him for help. Well, it was because the people were coming to see him for healing. He knew he wasn't the source of the healing. Their healing came from Saint Joseph. Andre was just praying for Saint Joseph's intercession for these people, something that anyone could do. Any one of these people could do on their own, yet he was the only one who seemed to understand that, and the only one that truly believed that Saint Joseph could do all of this healing. It wasn't just coming from Andre. And then an epidemic broke out at a nearby school, and Andre volunteered to be a nurse to help. Not a single person died while he was helping. And people began coming to him continuously to help him get better because they believed he was a healer. Hence why the trolley station had to be opened up just for him to treat people. But unfortunately, his following just grew large enough that people started to get suspicious that he drew his healing powers from some sort of evil presence or evil entity. And he simply explained to those people that I do not cure, St. Joseph cures. And just eventually people kind of realized that he was telling the truth, because anytime you would find Brother Andre, if he wasn't at the door or helping other people, he was just ceaselessly praying to St. Joseph. Brother Andre's healing stories became so well known that he actually needed secretaries to handle his, quote, fan mail. He received 80,000 letters a year. That breaks down to 219 plus letters a day. And assuming he didn't get mail on Sundays or didn't even open it on Sundays, that would be about 256 letters a day. Could you imagine getting 250 letters just any given day? Like, that's insane. Obviously, he needed secretaries. Like, I don't even know if it's physically possible to read 256 letters a day, though I'm sure he did his best to get through every single one. And remember how I mentioned that Andre was drawn to St. Joseph and he prayed to St. Joseph for healing everybody else? Well, a nearby hill, Mount Royal, was Andre's favorite place to pray to the saint, and Andre's community tried to buy it multiple times. And it took a little while, but eventually the owners agreed, and with $200, all earned from 5-cent haircuts that Andre would offer, and this is a little bit over $7,000 today, and yeah, it's a lot of haircuts to get to $200 from 5 cents a haircut. But Andre and the others began to build a small chapel with these funds, and visitors started to show up. Most were seeking a healing hand, and though not everybody was healed, many, many, many people were healed. In 1909, Andre was relieved of his duty as doorkeeper and assigned the full-time caretaker of the oratory on Mount Royal. I'm sure he was overjoyed at this chance to take care of the chapel that was dedicated to what he loved most. And people came from all over the place to visit Andre, who had now earned the nickname Miracle Man of Montreal. And there he stayed for the next couple of decades, taking care of the chapel and helping anybody, talking to anybody, doing everything he could to make everybody feel welcome that came to visit. By 1931, the chapel was unfortunately running low on funds. Andre said, "Put a chapel of St. Joseph in the middle. If he wants a roof over his head, he'll get it." And though it wasn't fast, eventually the spectacular oratory on Mount Royal was complete. And after Andre passed away on January 6, 1937, he was buried on Mount Royal near his chapel. On his deathbed, Andre said, "God is good. How beautiful and powerful he is. He must be beautiful, because the human soul, which is a reflection of God's beauty, is so beautiful." He valued inner beauty his whole life, and he recognized where that beauty came from, and he worked to serve that throughout his life. The week after his death, it is estimated that over 1 million people came out in the bitter Montreal winter to visit Andre's body. And according to ExtremeWeatherWatch.com, Montreal had several days below negative 20 degrees Celsius in January, which is about negative 4 degrees Fahrenheit. So he was clearly well known and very well loved if that many people came out to say their final farewells in such a harsh winter. Today, the oratory attracts over 2 million people a year, and the side chapels are filled with crutches of people who are healed through Andre's prayers. The reliquary chapel has some relics from Saint Andre as well, which is a fun little note if you decide to go visit. Andre was beatified on May 23rd, 1982 by Pope John Paul II, and then canonized on October 17th, 2010 by Pope Benedict XVI. His feast days, January 6th, and interestingly, the Congregation of the Holy Cross and Canada as a whole celebrate Andre's life on January 7th. Andre was the first member of the Congregation of the Holy Cross to be canonized as well, which is pretty cool. He's the patron saint of those who are sick, those who need healing, and for those who are marginalized or rejected, because Andre went through all those struggles growing up, and he helped many, many people get better. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will do my best to answer them. So, what are your thoughts on Saint Andre Bessette? What are your thoughts about all the healing that he helped perform through Saint Joseph? I hope you found his story interesting, because it's a pretty awesome story. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on Saint Andre, and thank you for listening. If you'd like to support the channel, you can subscribe, download the episode, like, comment, share it with your friends, or send me a suggestion on a saint to check out by emailing me at sanctifiedpodcast@proton.me. You can find the show on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Podbean, and more. Just search for the Sanctified Podcast on your preferred listening source, and I should have a few episodes uploaded. Take care and have a wonderful day.